So last week I reached out to a few foreign buyers and asked them what was the most common questions they had about buying property here in the UK and in London. And in less than 48 hours I had over 50 questions. Now a lot of these were very similar, and yet they were all about buying a property here in the UK and in London, about my thoughts on Brexit and the direction of real estate here in the country. Make sure you do stick around because I'm also going to be sharing with you the most popular neighbourhoods that these foreign buyers are looking at. So the first question was, as an American citizen, can I buy a property in England? And the answer is absolutely yes. So it doesn't matter whether you're an EU citizen, an American, there are no restrictions on non-UK residents buying property here in the UK. What may make it a little bit more challenging is if you require a mortgage for the purchase of that home. Which brings me to the next question, which is, as a foreign buyer, can I get a mortgage here in the UK? And the answer is absolutely yes, you can. And yet my advice is you first contact a mortgage broker. Why? Because a lot of the mainstream banks may not offer mortgages for foreign buyers or investors. So a mortgage broker can help you with that. Secondly, it's typical here in the UK, as a UK resident, you probably get 75% loan to value. As a foreigner, that's most likely going to be around about 60%. So you're going to have to put more deposit down. The second thing is interest rates are going to be different for a UK and a foreign buyer, typically. So you may have to pay more interest as a foreign buyer. And this one's a popular one for expats buying a home in England, which is, if I buy a property there, can I get a visa? And the straight answer is no. We're very different, for example, countries like Portugal, which I believe give you a golden visa if you invest in property more than 500,000 euros, I believe it is. Not sure whether that still exists, but that's certainly not the case here in the UK. So you don't get any visa or any special treatments if you buy and invest in real estate here in London or in the UK. So this was a similar question to, do I need a visa or resident status to buy a property there? And the answer is no, you don't necessarily need a visa to buy a property in the UK, but your visa and residency status might affect how long you stay here in the country. Make sure you do check specific requirements in your situation. Keep in mind that different visas have different time limits on how long you can stay here. And if you're a foreign buyer or an expat thinking about buying a property here in the UK and you want to speak to a professional, follow the link on the description. It will give you direct access to my calendar and you can book an appointment with me. It's completely free. So where do you find an estate agent in the UK? Well, my best advice is going to be through recommendations, friends, family, neighbours, colleagues. You've got forums, a lot of expat forums out there. Now, if that fails, you can also just go directly to the portals such as Rightmove, Zoopla, which are the most popular ones. There are more out there. Reach out to those agents, try and build a rapport with them, and you make the judgment of whether you find them professional and helpful. However, do keep in mind that those agents are listing agents and they're there to work in the best interest of the seller. They're there to extract the most amount of money from you. My other advice is hire a relocation agent, a buyer's agent. Why? Because they're going to be working in your best interest. They're going to do all the footwork. They know the market. They're going to get you off-market properties as well. And they're going to negotiate on your behalf, getting you the best possible price. What's the best advice you can give foreign buyers when buying property in the UK? Well, I'm going to narrow this down to two. The first one, following from my previous advice, hire a buyer's agent. It's going to streamline everything and it's going to take away a lot of nightmares, possible nightmares, and a lot of headaches for you. Streamline absolutely everything. The second thing is going to be know what your priorities are and know what you're willing to compromise. And most likely you're going to have to compromise on one or more of these things. Condition of the property, the size, floor level, but also location, location, location. What's the best process for making an offer? Well, making the offer is actually quite straightforward, and depending whether you're dealing directly with the estate agent, you may just have to send an email across with your offer, and also just providing, depending on the agent, they may ask you straight away for proof of funds, ID, proof of address, and also whether you have any finance to include that there and who your solicitors are. Most agents won't ask for that until they actually have an offer agreed, and then all the process starts, which is way too long to share with you in this video. Make sure you look at our other videos which explain the full process for you. How does the conveyancing work? Now again, whether it's the whole process from exchange to completion or the conveyancing, it's a long process. However, conveyancing is the legal process of transferring property ownership. Now, your chosen solicitor or conveyancer will handle all the searches, property checks and exchange of contracts. They'll ensure everything's legally sound and make sure that there are no hidden issues within the property. What is stamp duty? Quite simply, it's a tax that you pay whenever you buy property or land here in England. And the rates and brackets that you pay can vary depending on whether you're a UK resident, price bracket, and also whether it's your second home. Starting up to £125,000 right up to £1.5 million. Now, higher rates of stamp duty for second home purchases with 2% overseas surcharge applies from the 1st of October 2021. Now, these are a lot of questions, and yet do make sure you stay to the end so I can share with you the most popular neighbourhoods that foreign buyers are looking at today. What is a freehold property? So a freehold property is someone who actually owns the land and the structure within that land. Being the owner of that land makes them responsible for everything within it, including maintenance, taxes, insurance, absolutely everything. So you own the land and the structure. And that leads us into what is a leasehold. Our leasehold is a long-term arrangement that you have with the freeholder, the owner of the land. And with a leasehold, you own the property, subject of course to the terms and conditions of the leasehold for the length of the lease. Now, when the lease ends, the ownership returns to the freeholder unless you can extend. Now, most properties you can extend. Okay, so first up, the UK and especially London has some amazing neighbourhoods. So hopefully I won't get any backlash on this. This is based on the most popular, most common neighbourhoods that I get asked for from foreign buyers. So let's start with West London. Of course, the prime area of Chelsea and also Knightsbridge and South Kensington. Let's not forget the lovely area of Notting Hill and Holland Park. Going further out to west, you have Fulham and Putney. Also, Hammersmith and Shepherd's Bush is areas that we see a lot of demand when it comes to expats looking for property in London. Going over to North London, one of my favourite areas, and especially the beautiful leafy Hampstead in northwest London. Of course, you've got Camden. There are some residential areas in Camden, but if you like the hustle and bustle, it's right there at your doorstep. Wembley and East London's become very popular, and in some areas at least, you may get more for your money. You do have Shoreditch and Hoxton, and further out in East, you've got Leighton and Stratford. South of the river, we have two popular ones, which include Wimbledon and Clapham. So there you have it, the most common questions when it comes to foreign buyers buying real estate in the UK. Now, if you feel overwhelmed, feel free to book an appointment directly with me. You have direct access to my calendar on the link on the description.